In this lesson, we're going to get our textures in as texture objects, and we're going to link them through a series of nodes, and finally plug them into the subsurface color, and we get some really good results. Let's get started. All right, so first up, what we need to do is get a hold of the nodes that we're going to need for filtering, and one of them being our multiply. We're going to get our multiply up. Let's get him in there. There he is. And we're going to need about 2 of them, so we'll drag both of them in here. And let's put these guys in order. So I'm going to put one here and one here, just right next to each other. That sounds good. And we'll scooch back just a little bit here, and then now we're going to get constant. Let's get a constant regular one. And we also want to bring in a constant 3 vector. So he's there in the middle. Pull him up. So this is going to control our color as the light passes through the object. This is our first set of nodes that go in here. The other ones are going to help with texturization and as it shifts with the world alignment with the texture. And as the object moves in 3D space, it'll actually look rich, have a nice glow to it. Our specular is already set up relating with our normals. And let's go ahead and get that stuff done. So let's go click on this guy. And the color that we want to shoot for, let's do R or red to be 0.008. And we'll do green. We'll do 0.18. I think that'll be okay. And then blue, we definitely need to have blue in there. And you guys can actually make that a little bit stronger if you want. So let's go ahead and connect these. So I'm going to connect this into the first one. And the bottom slot's going to be our texture slot. So I'm going to go over here and connect this here and then multiply. And in the constant here, let's actually make this guy. So we're going to act as our little controller here for our color amount. And let's set him to, I'll do 0.3. I think will be fine. And we'll punch him in right there. All right. So this guy's set up and ready to go. That's just one part of it. We now need to bring in, to plug into the B variable here, or B, a node slot, I should say. What we need to do now is to create 3 adds. So let's make 3 adds. Now these guys are going to act as our filter system to bring in the other components and to be able to chain them together. So I'll do 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Let's move them over. Make it a little bit easier to read. Oops, I don't want to connect them just yet. I'll grab them in succession. And I'll space them a little bit better. There you go. And I'll move this guy a little bit higher too. Cool. And we also need a constant. We're going to need one. So let's pull in another constant. We can just grab the one we had before. Control C, Control V, and drag him down. And I want his variables to be a little bit higher. So we're going to do like maybe 5.5 right there, I should say. All right, so we got a 0.5, we got to add 3 adds here. So we're not done. We now need to make one more multiply. So this multiply on the bottom, we'll just grab one of our previous ones, Control C, Control V, and drag him down. This guy is going to help with the initial, or actually the end color on the very bottom, and it's going to actually control how that filters in. I'm going to put him right at the bottom here. So he's kind of important. And you'll see the textures degrade or not be as high quality from the top to bottom. So to get them pulled in, we're not going to just drag them in like we did before. This time what we're going to do is grab them by selecting them, and we're going to type in our texture object. That's going to give us the ability to be able to control these textures and get them linked into our world alignment texture. And this is really going to help with the shape and the look of this ice. So that's my higher end one, or I should say the low level one. And that one is going to be placed at the top. Let's get in the other ones here. So we have one that's color. I can drag him in. He's going to be at the bottom. So he's going to be more towards the bottom. He's kind of important. We'll move our multiply over here. He's going to be part of that team. And then we're going to have one in the middle. So this one in the middle, it's going to be a little bit like maybe grunge-ish. And I'll grab this guy. There he is. Oh, don't want to drag him in. Bad habit. We want to do the texture object. Must follow my own advice. There we go. Awesome. Again, texture object, not grabbing. So we got that all set up. Now we need to actually bring in our world alignment texture. So we're going to type in world. And this world alignment texture is going to allow us to really be able to manipulate our object in 3D space. Now we're not going to go through all these other guys. I'm just going to leave those open for now, but you can always close those, and like I said earlier, within your material itself. And I'm going to do Control C, Control V. There we go. Check it out. Control C, Control V. Pull that last one in there. Cool. I could just hit Control V. Always do that. And so we got this all set up here. So what we need is some constants. We want to be able to control the texture size. So let's pull in some constants again, and we can just grab the one we had before and pull it over. And let's change his variable here and make it, let's do on the top one, we just want 500. It's not really super important. And we're going to plug him into the texture size. And then right here, we're going to plug this into the texture object. Nice and smooth, pretty easy, straightforward stuff. We're going to duplicate this again. And I'll just have to hit Control V to bring him in. And then we're going to change this guy to like 1500. Punch him into the texture size. Punch this guy into the texture object. There we go. And we're going to hit Control V again. And this guy will be the highest because he's more of the color, and we want him to be a little bit more important here. And we're going to punch in 2000 on this guy. There we go. And this texture size is going to be kind of big. And I'm going to bring this in here. All right. So now that we have that all set up, we need to do the final node connections here. One of them for this guy, our multiply, we need to bring in our texture right there into A. With that plugged into A, we're now going to bring this guy up to the add, the very last add. Oh, excuse me, I mean the middle add. So we'll move this back, and let's plug in these guys so we don't get too confused. I easily can confuse myself. So we're going to click that here. We're going to put our constant there. We're going to connect these guys, put that right there. Pretty simple stuff. And we're going to put this guy right there. So notice I put them in a line so I could remember to put these guys all into one place. And now this guy is going to go into the middle one right there. Now we're not done yet because these two slots need to be filled. And that's pretty easy. We just grab this guy, punch it here, and grab this guy and punch it here. And finally, what we need to do is plug this in to these guys. So we see that we have an open slot with B. These guys are already taken care of. And we're going to punch this up to the top. And then finally, we're going to grab this guy here and put it right into our subsurface color. And let Unreal do its calculating. It likes to try to figure out what's going on. We're going to see what it looks like. Not too shabby. That looks pretty darn good. Now let's see what it looks like in real time. So I'm going to compile my textures all together. It does take a little bit of time to do that. We'll let that compile. Remember, don't delete anything, and don't try to get rid of stuff while it's compiling. You just want it to get its stuff done. All right, finishing shader compiling there. And save it at the same time. There we go. Cool. Awesome. It's all set up, ready to go. Looks pretty nice. Let's close this out. I'll just move it aside for now. And you can see in our environment, look at how much better our ice looks like. This is pretty sweet. We can now grab this material if we wanted to and even apply it to the ground. Get that guy in there. Oh, make sure I grab it from the content browser. A little bit easier. I always forget you can't do that. It's not like Maya. So we'll go in here and grab this dude here. Ice M. Drag him in. And look at that. Nice. So we got a nice little ice effect. Looking really great. So that's about it with this one. Next thing we're going to do is create a trigger box. And that trigger box, we're going to actually have it so the animation doesn't keep playing, but actually stops. But you can see how great this is looking already just by playing with those shaders. All right? That's about it.